Okay, this is video reflection number 1, where I talk about the relationship between culture and what I think leadership is, and then who I think can be a leader. About leadership I learned through high school sports. I was a captain on multiple varsity teams for multiple years, and I always strived to be the best leader I could possibly be. I thought at the time what made me a good leader was I was a talented athlete and I was an outgoing person, so I could approach people and I could talk to them because I knew what I was talking about. However, I saw that in different ways a lot. So when I was a freshman in sports, we had seniors that were supposed to be leaders and acted like leaders, but they did it in a negative way. So they took their outgoing personality and turned it into bullying, and they took their talent in the sport into cockiness or something like that. So they kind of made the team dynamic very separated. It was almost cliquey, it was terrible, and a lot of the underclassmen felt like crap all the time. So when I was older, becoming a leader, being able to step up with more confidence, my goal was to bring a team together and change that team dynamic into making it feel more like a family, making everyone welcome. So that's the leader I always strive to be. The biggest thing that I've learned so far in this class is that leadership can be seen from a lot of different perspectives. What I think makes a good leader can be completely different from what someone else thinks. So my perspective on leadership, I've seen it through sports, I've seen it in ways like that, but the background I come from can be very different from the background that someone else comes from. So what I think I need in a leader can be very different from what someone else needs in a leader. I think it's very interesting to look at how different people, especially famous people, use platforms to affect things. So becoming famous is one thing, but becoming famous and being a good leader at the same time is a completely different thing. I mean, you have famous people like Kim Kardashian, who focuses more on her body and showing that to the world. And then you have people like Megan Rapinoe, who is fighting for equal payment between the women and men's soccer teams. Like, she's standing up against something that has been set in stone for a long time, and she needs a lot of confidence to do that, and that's amazing to me. Or you look at someone like Ashton Kutcher, who is an amazing actor, funny, can become filthy rich based off of things like that, but he decides to step down from acting to focus more on making a change with sex trafficking. Like, he actually spends the time, effort, and money on making real differences, and I think that is the difference between leadership in a general way and leadership in an amazing way. I also thought it was incredibly interesting to see how different people from our class alone describe leadership and how each of us saw it in a different way. So when I was describing leadership, I think a leader is above the followers. The leader has to take charge. The leader has to do more. The leader is above them, but that's not what the leader focuses on. Their main focus is getting them as well as their team of people higher. And no matter what that is, they're getting closer to their goals every single day, and that's what they focus on. Like, the leader has to take control, has to do more, but they do it with their followers, because a leader is not a leader without their followers. However, there were some people that said a leader is on the same level as their followers, and I can see that perspective too. Like, a leader is no different. I'm no better. I was a leader in sports, but I'm no better than any other girl that I played with. I am not above them. I just simply had to take on more responsibility and do a little bit more. But that does not necessarily make me any more important or any more necessary than any other girl that was wearing a jersey. So I can see both perspectives, and I think it's honestly amazing that I can walk into a classroom, share my perspective, hear other perspectives, and then increase my understanding of leadership even more. Differences in culture was something I never really thought about until coming to college. Like, it was never on my mind. I came from Norwalk, Iowa. Everyone was pretty much the same. There was not a lot of differences between the people that lived there, and it just wasn't something I had to think about day to day. And I come someplace like Iowa State that has so many people from so many different backgrounds with so many different stories to share, and it's a completely new world to me. But that's something I always said I was super excited about. I was ready to meet new people, see where they come from, and understand their life as well as mine. I think an individual's culture that they come from has a huge impact on their social identities and their personal identities, and those identities have a huge impact on how they value leadership and who they can see as a leader. For example, my biggest value personally is trust, and that comes from my background and my culture. I value my family and my friends, but I value that because I can trust them. I've had my trust broken in the past, and that just makes me value it even more. That's something I need in my life. Other people could value things like security. If they've had financial struggles or something like that in the past, that can influence what they value in life too. So basically, to wrap it all up, I think people can look very simple on paper. I could write a lot of facts about myself and seem plain as day, but until you get to know me, my culture, my background, my values, you're not truly going to understand me and you're not going to know how to lead me. So I've learned a lot about what impacts leadership, but I've also done a lot of reflecting on the type of leader that I am. Looking back on my high school experiences as a leader, I still think I was a great leader, but I think that because I was a leader, that would be great for a person like me. Now I'm questioning things like, what if there were girls on my team that needed me to lead in other ways? Like, I know as a leader, I would please players that were like myself, but there are so many people that can be very different from me. Honestly, I've loved everything that I've learned in this class so far. I think it's crazy to think about my life and my background and then compare it to other people's, and I think it can only help me grow. So I'm excited to learn more, but also question myself more, because I think I can only become a better leader through doing that.